Hi there, it's Miriam with Engadget. We're here at Mobile Congress 2013 with Nick DiCarlo of Samsung. He's the head of product strategy for the US. That's a pretty exciting thing. We love product strategy.
Thank you.
And we're going to discuss, obviously, the Note 8, which was announced at Mobile Congress.
Looks better on.
It does look better on. So, Nick, walk us through a little bit. I mean, it was inevitable, right? We all knew eventually you would make an 8 or 7-inch tablet.
You guys are pretty savvy.
Well, yeah, we go that way. With a stylus and make it a Note. But tell us a little more. I mean, obviously there's some decisions that were made here, like the size of 8 versus 7, the built-in voice functionality, and not just, a cellular connection, but actually a real speaker at the top. You could, hold this like that. So, I want to kind of talk to you about this, and from maybe a global perspective somewhat, and also maybe a US perspective.
Sure.
So tell me a little bit, how did it get to this?
Yeah, so I mean, we invented the 7-inch portable tablet category.
Right.
And, like you said, it was inevitable that once the original Note proved popular and the Note 10 proved popular, you got to have a portable version, and so that was something that people definitely asked us about. And then in terms of reading, taking notes on the go, it's a great size. I'm not a real big guy, but it fits in your hand easily, and you just take a bunch of notes. So it's really exciting. This actually has a reader's mode, so it's good for reading books, of course. All the typical things you'd expect in this range.
Talk about the voice capability. We've seen obviously many tablets from Samsung. One of my favorite being the Galaxy Tab 7.7 with LTE or 3G HSPA connectivity.
Yep.
And this has voice, like actual speaker in it. So what was the thinking behind that?
Yeah, so I mean, people ask us a lot about having voice in these devices. Some people might want to only have one service plan, and it makes a killer speakerphone in addition to if you want to hold it up to your head. So I do most of my calls via speakerphone and annoys all my colleagues. That's how I do it. And so I think that's, creates a different kind of experience, and we've pushed the envelope in a lot of different ways, big phones, S Pens, so why not try?
Sure.
Keep trying
so there's
things
actually a
and
bona fide mic at the bottom, right? Just to be clear, and an earpiece. And of course, you were talking about the speakers at the bottom. You can't see them, but they're actually here for the stereo for like the speakerphone function. This unit is presumably global, right? And so it has HSPA plus. Does it have LTE?
There'll be 4G versions in different markets.
Right. So tell us a little bit about the US. In our experience, most tablets, I think the Galaxy Tab 7.7, the global version, I believe, potentially had voice. I'm not sure if it had the speaker, but it had the ability to at least text and make phone calls if you had a Bluetooth headset.
Right.
And of course, the operators, the carriers in the US took that out.
Right.
Do you think it's possible to talk them into leaving that functionality intact this time around? What do you think? Do you think the US market is ready for that?
Yeah, maybe if enough readers or viewers email in, then that may be an option.
You hear that? If you want, to have something this big to talk on. So what else?
It's polarizing, right? Just like the Galaxy Note, it's polarizing.
Totally, and now the Galaxy Note.
Some people think it's silly. Some people totally need it, and we'll find the balance.
And the Galaxy Note now is no big deal. I mean, everybody just uses it as a phone. Nobody asked. But when it started, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So this is it. Don't be surprised if going down the line, this will be normal. People will just be using it on the phone.
It'll be your personal device by next year.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, the industrial design. Can you speak on that a little bit? Obviously, it's in the line of the GS3, the Galaxy Note 2, somewhat the Tab 10.1 as well. But there are some unique little bits here, and I'm noticing that it's get a bit more of that oval shape, more GS3 and less Note 2, and whereas the Note 10 is more Note 2 in terms of overall shape. So how was this decided? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, you've got a pretty distinguishing eye. I mean, I think that it's good to see a family look. It makes it feel more like, oh, I know what I'm getting here. I know what this is. I know what this does. You don't necessarily, if you search for Galaxy Note, you can find 10, 8, or the 5.5, and you get basically a lot of the same features within. You get that core Note experience. A couple of things that are unique to this device is that now the S Pen can control the menu key and the home key capacitively, so you never have to put the pen down, which is cool. And we've had it in the US, but it hasn't been globally, is the infrared inclusion. So we've got the Peel Smart Remote, really cool experience. It's only been in the US until recently, and now we're bringing the TV addiction to the rest of the world.
So it's interesting that it's actually on the right side, which means that you're kind of expected to use a landscape mode to control your AV system.
Yep.
Was that on purpose? Is the Peel app more optimized that way?
Yeah, the Peel UI works really well in landscape, so that's a big factor. And of course, this will rotate. The multi-window capability of the device will rotate. So it's a very natural way to do it this way.
It's not as easy to do with one hand, though. If you're like holding onto your beer while you're watching the game.
I guess that's true.
That's kind of always what I've thought about. I've always thought that the phone would be a better remote control than the tablet with an IR blaster, which is what HTC did with the One. Maybe we'll see that on the Galaxy S4.
What's
right?
that?
Oh, come on. That was announced. Now we know the event's next month. So this is great. The only concern I have is, again, and I've brought this up a few times with Samsung, is the materials and build quality are not very compelling to me. I mean, it feels a little cheap. Is there anything you guys can do to improve the build quality and materials to really push the envelope, especially now that you are pretty much on top of the world and you have unlimited, infinite resources? Right? Clearly, right?
Certainly not infinite
I know,
resources.
I'm just kidding. But I mean, it's fine. It's just that, obviously you haven't announced pricing or availability, so we don't know the price point. If the price point is, it's very possible that the compromises were made for that, and I respect that. I'm just hoping that for the kind of flagships, which I think the Notes are, all of them, and also devices like GS3, GS4, that we're going to see in the future some improvement there. Are you guys, looking at other alternatives like metals and ceramics and,
Yeah, I mean,
you're a strategy guy, so like, what's the strategy to make Samsung devices delightful in the hand?
Right. Yeah, so I think that a couple of things are really important, and I think this is an area that we pioneered, is people used to say, this device doesn't have enough weight, it doesn't feel premium, right? But we always felt race cars, performance was light, right? And so we focused on lightness. It's a feature of the AMOLED displays, it's a feature of the designs that we make, try to make the devices light. The other thing that we try to do, and this is under 8 millimeters, is make them really thin. Very portable, durable, scratch resistant. All those pieces, all those are dimensions that people care a lot about. So definitely, you've not gone unheard. I want you to know that you've not gone unheard.
I get it. I mean, I get that plastics are very durable, right? I mean, and it's true. I have a lot of Samsung devices, and they don't scratch very easily. And so, but it's just, I'm thinking, since you're catering to such a broad range of products, from the very, very entry-level Android phone all the way to flagship devices, I would think that there might be room for some devices that are really pushing. And I know you do that with the laptops. The Samsung Series 9 is a really good example of that, right?
Yeah, and the 7.7.
Exactly, yeah.
Materials.
That was one of the most gorgeous designs, I think, in terms of materials. So, I mean, you can't speak to future products, but in terms of strategy, where are we going with Samsung and globally in the US? Is there anything you can share with us? Any insight on how Samsung thinks and works for this kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I think that there's a lot of things going on, and the market and what people are interested in is evolving really, really rapidly, particularly as more and more people get smartphones around the world. With the Galaxy S3 and the Note 2, there was a really heavy emphasis on sharing, right? Tapping to share, S-Beam, all those types of capabilities, and that remains really important. How do my devices work together? And some of the things that you can see out in the booth here at MWC are taking that and pushing on that even harder. So there's a home sync. There's a way to make any TV an Android-powered smart TV. Works with all your Galaxy devices with a single Samsung account. There's the TV Discovery service. which in a good, better, best scenario, in the best scenario, if you have a 2013 smart TV and you have this device with the TV Discovery feature on it, you can totally control your TV. You can pull video from your cable service down to your television and stream it within Wi-Fi. Walk around your house, go get a beer, as you mentioned, and not miss a play in the sports or whatever you're watching. In addition, it has a recommendation engine built in and a bunch of over-the-top video services like Netflix, Blockbuster, Samsung's own Media Hub. And so that idea of you're using your tablet on your couch, as you mentioned, and everything's working better together is an area where we think that Samsung's always had a lot of potential, and now that we're a little bit more successful in the smartphone space, it gives us a unique opportunity to try to do some creative things. That's what we're trying to do. Awesome.
So you get your feedbacks by doing internal testing, focus groups, or do you tend to try to get feedback from, let's say, our readers? How does that work? Your strategy obviously is very, forward thinking.
So, we get tons of feedback on our Facebook page of Facebook fans. We've got 22 million Facebook fans. Twitter account, via your comments, via the reviews, the product reviews, the scores we get, consumer research. Of course, you can't research things that don't exist, so we do testing internally. Basically, any method at our disposal, all the functions from design, user experience, my team, lots of teams all throughout customer service, care, carriers, everybody's,
you try to fish from as many sources as possible.
And I hope, I don't know what you think, but Samsung's products have improved very rapidly since the original Galaxy S came out. And so I think, hopefully that's a testament to the hard work a lot of people have done to improve the products really rapidly and try to listen and come up with things that are interesting.
Great. Well, listen, thanks so much, Nick, for your time.
Yeah,
It's been lovely talking with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.